Ta-da! All right. Meanwhile, I have to log back into Simpler at large. Okay, we'll start here. And Heather, I pinged you in Slack. If you could help me out. Oh, there we go. You did. Thank you. Thank you. Everything crashed, so I have to reload everything. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So here we are. This is, in fact, the Monster Momo. This is the base chart that I've been using on the daily. Okay, and I love the simplicity of this. So if you are just looking for a really simple, I mean, truly drop dead simple chart, this is the way to go. So let me show you. Somebody was asking, Caesar was asking a little while ago. I got into AGI and I posted this trade in the Mastering the Trade room. We got a little flush here today, but we scaled out yesterday, yeah? Because I said, look, we've hit the +1 Keltner channel. Let's scale some, right? Let's scale a little bit, manage at break even at that point, and then see how high is high. Well, apparently there was some news from Bank of America. I'm not quite sure what, but that caused the flush today. But notice where it went to. It's still setting up here. So if this can get back and hold the 21, I will get back into this again. But either way, we made about, what, 60, 70 bucks a contract on it and got out of break even. Not too bad, right? So far, so good. Another one I had was this. I ran out of contracts on this, but I got in when it was down here. It was Momo. It was holding the 21, and I found this a couple of weeks ago. It was holding the 21, so I got in. That concerned me a little bit, but it held the 21, so I stayed in. Right? It didn't crush my stop loss, and I scaled out 3 times on this thing. Do you see the simplicity? And the reason why I held was because I saw this. This is a classic JC setup. Pull back to the 21 with a squeeze setting up and positive drift in the EMAs. This is the 21 EMA with the +1 and -1 standard deviations. So it's a really simple chart. And you can use the TTM squeeze instead of the Squeeze Pro, because that'll show you these red dots right here. Isn't that beautiful? This was setting up. Wham. What was the other one? I had a BK one. Oh, yeah. This one is still setting up. I got into it here because it was holding the 21. I scaled out yesterday, but I only had a couple of contracts. It's still got a ways to go, but it's a little extended, so put it on your watch list. Is this making sense? This is really drop dead simple. Okay? Really, really drop dead simple. But this is a daily chart. And this is like the base. So now let me start with my buddy Bill there, right? I know that Bill uses the Moxie with some of his setups. Oh, it's okay, Caesar. I can answer that question. What's the difference between the TTM and the Squeeze Pro? Let me just put it on my chart and I will show you. Here's the TTM squeeze. The TTM is the OG. It's the original. The Squeeze Pro gives you the low compression and the high compression. The TTM will give you just the mid compression, which is that red dot. So notice that here, if you're looking at this, you're like, the squeeze fired. Maybe it's time to get out. But there's still actually more to go in that compression. Does that make sense, Caesar? So you can use either one. There's nothing, the OG is the OG for a reason. The squeeze is part of John's base setup for a reason. Right? Yeah, I'm not going that far, Bill. They're really, really drop dead simple, especially on the daily, Caesar. I like the Squeeze Pro because I can see it setting up, but that doesn't necessarily get me into or out of a trade. But when I see this red dot, heck yeah. And when I see this, I'm like, okay, I can stay in it, especially when I have Momo. They're really nice for confirmation. Oh, look at all this, right? What was the other? Oh, Heather and I did this one the other day. TTD. I think I did mine off the 30-minute chart. One second here. Let me open my tools. I think I might have. Oh, nope. Oh, yeah, it didn't save it because Tosh crashed on me. Oh, well. Let me fix this for a second. 1 second. I'm just going to delete a bunch of stuff here so that I can, oops, add some styles, because I created some styles just to kind of show you how this works. So let me do this. I'm just going to add some styles of things that people use and have, right, for this, because this is really simple right here. I mean, you could just use this as it is. That's a Keltner channel, and all I've done is put it at a 1 standard deviation and a 21 EMA. Okay, so that is the basic. Oh, let's do the Moxie with some quant pivots, just to show you. And maybe an HPMR, just because. And I'm going to do some time frames here so I can swap back and forth easily. See, TOS keeps crashing and not saving my stuff because, well, when it crashes, it's kind of, it just reloads what I had before that it remembers. Okay, so let me close that and then reopen it. So it should be saved now. Okay, so all I've done is I've just created a bunch of styles that I'm going to swap to. So this is a daily chart. Yeah, TOS is crashing for whatever. So the Keltner channel, that's what this is, and let me show you the settings on it. It is drop dead simple. Seriously. Move it to exponential, the 21, and a factor of 1. That's it. That's it. Really easy, and Keltner channels exist on pretty much every platform, so you can use that. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the. You got this now, Caesar? I'm gonna remove the OG because I use the Squeeze Pro and it's taking up space. Okay. I trade on TradingView for futures, Aaron, not options, because you can't trade options on TradingView. Okay. So here's the other thing that you can use. A lot of people have asked about it. So notice that this is set up. This is just the Momo and the continuation. Notice that I don't have the multi-time frame, and I'll get to that. This is just the Momo, right? But a lot of people use the 10x bars. So just a second here, and it should shift to the 10x bars. See that? I can use them together. There is a way to set up the screener, Dr. Bob, and I'll show you. Do you see this? These are 10x bars. 10x isn't showing you the trend, it's showing you sideways. But we can see that this is setting up. Let's look at another one. I know you all have been looking at this beastie. This one doesn't work because of volume, but we can turn the volume off here for a moment. There's no volume because this is an IPO and it's brand new. And it still doesn't have enough on the daily. Let's drop down to the 30-minute. There we go. Check out Toast. Okay, so let's go back to the daily. Look at that. So the 10x are still showing you sideways, aren't they? But we know that we have a squeeze setting up, and we know we have a reversal, and it's Momo is squeezing back and forth, but look at it holding the 21, and the EMAs are all stacked positively. The 15-minute? Oh, look at that. That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Great signals, right? So you can notice that I can shift back and forth time frames, and it still works. This is fantastic. right? Nice signals. It's holding the Keltner channels. On the 15 minute, we could go to the 30 minute. Ooh, looky. That's maybe a slingshot squeeze setting up there, right? How about the early in and out? A lot of people use it with the early in and out. Check this out. Early in and out. That said, get in, it's fixing to go. Boom! You see that? These are the early in and out bars, not the 10x. So the early in and out have volume dots on them. Look at that arrow. It's the 30-minute chart. Look at that. What's it looking like on the daily, though? So one of the things that you can do is use those lower time frames for better entries. Because if you were looking at this today, you'd be like, where can I get in? Well, I don't know, let's drop to the 15-minute. Ooh, that looks nice. The volume dots, Janet, are on the early in and out, which is what I just shifted to. Okay. What I'm showing you is that you can use this with so many different tools, things that you like, right? Let me just go back to the base here. There we go. That's my Momo base. Oh, that's not correct, Caesar, and that's why I was just showing it to you. So, this is the early in and out with Momo. Watch this. Very incorrect. You know what the early in and out does for you, Caesar? Early in and out matches the squeeze bars. The problem is that it doesn't always catch up to where the Momo might be going. So with both of these things, you can have amazing confirmation. Let me add another button to get my Momo base in there. See the difference? Gray is the equivalent of the yellow in the early in and out. Of course it's going to give you confusing arrows, because when you're in a squeeze, Caesar, especially on lower time frames, the squeeze is basically a chopping back and forth in a tighter and tighter range. There's no squeeze on this 15-minute chart, but is there squeeze on the daily? There most certainly is. Yeah, I will get to that, Nilu. Do you see that? So what I'm telling you is that you could, if you see something that you want in and you think, oh man, I don't want to buy up here, maybe on a lower time frame I can get a better entry. Well, let's drop down to the, let me show you how I add the My Tools. It's in here. I do it as a single panel so I can move it around. I'm going to click this gear and I'm going to add a button, and I'm going to add a 30-minute time frame. Good. Now watch. Boom. Well, maybe this is a better entry, so I can set an alert. And if it gets down there, right, I want this on the daily, but this might be a better entry. Right? Take a look. See, if I want to go down to the 15-minute chart, well, same deal. They're pretty close. And Bill, for me, I use the 30-minute for a daily chart, right, when I want to swing trade, which is an overnight trade. So Sphinx, hopefully that showed you how to set up the tools. You can save study sets, right? I can do a style here, studies, and I can save a study set, or I can do a style and I can save the style with everything in it. It depends on how you want to do it. Both work, and then you can add them as buttons from here. Add a button, a study set, a style, whatever. Really drop dead simple. Okay. Ooh, how about some, oh, I don't have a tool set up there, but I did a style, studies. Let's load some VDL, voodoo lines. Now there aren't voodoo lines on toss, but there are here. And let's go to the daily. Oh, looky there. Momo with voodoo. I know Heather uses this a lot. Look at that. That's a skyline. That's a fire line. Let's look at, well, there weren't voodoo lines on Toast. I know there's voodoo lines on NVIDIA, though. Ooh, look at the Momo on NVIDIA. So pull back into here. Well, maybe we want to go down, drop down today and look for a 15-minute potential entry. Yeah? Or we could go to the Momo base and go, oh yeah, that's not bad. Right? Look at that. Look at that. With, on the daily and the voodoo lines. Right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. For a ripper up into here, it doesn't have a squeeze, and that's okay, but we've got some Momo setting up. So for a quick overnighter, a whack of that fire line tomorrow or the next day, not a bad looking trade. Do you see how simple this is? And we can use just about anything with it. Let's go down. Let's drop down here to a 5-minute chart. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite things. You know I love these. These are HPMRs. I am not a momentum trader, and yet I can still use these. Now, NVIDIA is just basically chopping in a range, so there weren't really any entries. But there was here. Look at that. Nailed the PMR. Look at, if you're looking at this Momo, you're like, why did it stop right there? I thought there was Momo. Got a reversal and wham. I will show Moxie in just a second. Yeah. Is this making sense? You can use this with so many tools. But I hope you're getting from this, though, the key to this is to not use two different things that show you momentum two different ways, because what you'll wind up with is analysis paralysis. All of these tools that I've been showing you do have different jobs. Yeah, massive confusion. So you don't want to do that. Want to see it with the Moxie? There you go. There's a 5-minute Moxie, but we could go to the 15-minute chart. Ooh, looky there. Quant pivots and Bollingers? You bet. So this is, this should have been quant pivots. Oh, not quant pivots. Watch this. This is a 15-minute chart. Let's put the quant pivots on the 4-hour. You got your Moxie. You can remove the squeeze or not. You got your quant pivots, and you've got the Momo. It's great with Hope and Loop. You want to see that? Let's go back to the base. We just start from the clean chart again, and instead, they've been renamed, but I don't have the renamed versions. Oh, looky. I don't see any reversal. Well, my arrows are probably the same color. Let's see. Yeah. So let's change these to light green. Well, let's make it really, really obvious. Orange and really, 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 I don't know, white. We'll go there just so we can see them. Tell which one is which. There we go. There you go. right? So you had Momo, but it was starting to wane, right? But Momo and this says heads up, right? But it continued. Momo and Gray says, oh, hey, maybe you want to consider getting out of your trade. And there you go. Right? Look at that. Sideways momentum. Hob and Loeb. Get in and look what happened. Does that make sense, Rob? It's fantastic with Hob and Loeb. This is a 15-minute chart. Sully. Let's go back to the daily. Ooh, look at that. You're starting to get gray bars and a reversal on the Hob and Loeb. So, heads up, right? That doesn't mean that it's going to stop, but you are really far above the standard deviation here. Yeah? So, maybe you might at least want to tighten stops or scale some profits and move your stops. Yeah, that's great. Look at this. So you didn't have a squeeze, and well, you had a squeeze way back here. Look at this. It went down quite a ways, right? Right? So as you look back, but when it first started going up, look at that. You got the buy arrow finally from the Hob and Loeb. You're starting to get reversal on the momentum, and wham. That's a beautiful thing. Nice trade, Sully. Have I compared with the B3 squeeze? Yes, I have. I'm not going to go into that too much, just because we got a lot of stuff to do, and I want to show some intraday charts and the way I use them. But yes, why would that work, SS? It'll work because this works, right? The squeeze works, and the B3 is just a better way of, I don't know, it's a better way, but it's a different way, and it works really great for Taylor to categorize his squeezes into scores, right? But yeah, so this is the one thing that I have found with them. Let me go back to the base, and let me put the B3 squeeze on here. Let's do that really quick. So what I found, right, is that the big three, just like the regular squeeze, the big three can be late. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but with the Momo, right, you were kind of missing it. Look at that, though. You got a reversal. So they're going to be similar, SS, and that's why it works with the squeeze and the big three, because the big three is based on the squeeze. So please understand that the big three isn't something different. No, the blue and white bands, Rob, are the lookbacks for the Hob and Loeb. This right here is a Keltner channel, and we went over that earlier. Okay. So let's go back to the base here, and we'll leave that for a second. So this is the base that I use, and I'll show you the stuff that Heather's been using as well. But here is my intraday chart with the labels. See what's on it? And Parzival, Momo is looking for not necessarily different. There's some overlap. But Big Three is taking a lot of stuff into consideration, so you could miss some stuff. But that's not a bad thing, right? And if Big Three works for you, Hosanna. Use it. It doesn't matter, right? What I'm showing you is that you can use this with many, many, many different tools and styles. It works really, really well with everything that I've found. And remember, let me say again, you all know me, I am not a momentum trader. And yet, I've been using this to great advantage. So this is an intraday chart. I got stopped out of my short here, by the way, this morning, but I shorted this I took some profits. I got stopped out. I shorted it again and got stopped out because, well, it did this. But now look. These are the quant pivots. This is on the 2 hour. This is on the 4 hour because it's a 15-minute chart. Look at this squeeze setting up on the 15-minute though. Look at it holding the quant pivots. So, money. This is my base setup. But we could do something like this, right? Ooh, look at that. There's the Moxie. Nice, right? Yeah, I agree, Bill. Using the Momo is going to enhance and allow you, help you to be confident staying in trades that you might have gotten out of otherwise. But it enhances pretty much everything you might already be using. This is intraday, right? With the Moxie. Let's do one of our favorites. I'm going to close that. Find my chart. I have so many charts. What did I save that as? Oh, right there. I was running out of things to save it as. Check this out. So you all know that John trades the quick hits, right? With quant pivots, the sandbox, as he calls it. This is with, did it not save it? I think it maybe didn't save it. Oh yeah, it did. So reversal arrows, right? And yes, I am testing SPX, by the way, to fix these because I found a bug. These are, so this is the quick hits arrows, but these are the quant pivot, or the Momo arrows. See that? So you can absolutely use this with quick hits as well. Somewhere I have bar colors that I don't want. I'll turn it off over there, that's fine. Momo does not need volume. It enhances it. And that's why, let me go back to my base chart here. And I'll show you. So this is SPX. Notice that it's not, the reversals are there, but nothing else is printing, right? That's why there's that right in there. And now, ta-da! Yeah, a 15-minute sell. Yeah, exactly. So we've got it on the daily on the SPX from yesterday, and we got it yesterday on the ES on the daily. You see that? But let's go to the 15-minute chart. Yeah, we got a sell arrow, but we've also got this squeeze setting up, and we still have Momo in place. And if we add the volume back in, because I'm on the ES, right, this will change things. Not much, but a little. So Sully said he used quick hits to exit STX today. Absolutely. It works with everything. It really does work with everything. Where can you get the momentum reversal indicator? The momentum reversal indicator is part of the Monster Momo, Dr. Bob. And the Monster Momo is part of the class that JC has been doing. There's still live trading if you want to get in on that. Hold on, let me I don't know where the links are. Oh, here we go. Yeah, live trading is for the elite. Dr. Bob is tomorrow. But if that doesn't work for you and you want in on the class, then you can call support at Simply Trading. You can email support at simplytrading.com, or you can call 512-266-8659 and talk to your account rep. Tomorrow and Thursday, right? Yeah, and the live trading that we did in June was fantastic. Is this making sense? So Rob, for the most part, if I'm day trading, I use extended hours on the futures. John doesn't use extended hours for things like SPX because there aren't any, right? I mean, technically there are if you're on Interactive Brokers, but yeah, I would turn that off intraday. But you can use it, right? I've got it. I've got extended hours on, and it works great. So, before we get too far into this, so okay, great. Let's go back to the daily chart. Boom. Want a daily chart? Cool. Let's do some scans. So this is what I use because I want options that have open interest. I want at least 20 days. We could do 10 because we got 11 days until July expiration, but normally I do this and I want a buy signal, right? So let's go to a buy signal. Okay. So all I've done is I'm saying, I need some volume. I want at least a $20 stock, and you'll see that Henry and Roggy and even John, for the most part, trade things $20 and above, because if they're so cheap, if they're less than that, it's sometimes easier to just buy the stock because they're generally illiquid. That doesn't mean for everything. Some things are really massively liquid and they're a $10 stock, but for the most part, you can limit this, you can remove it, right? What do I want for market cap? Well, I want a decently reasonable company, right? I want at least 500 open interest and at least 10 days to expiration. Let's see if we get some buys on the daily. Oh, Baba. Let's go look. Let us go look at Baba. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that. There's no squeeze, and that's okay. This is pretty extended, but look at that. So now what we could do is drop down to a 15-minute chart. Holy moly, there must have been news. That is a V-bottom if I ever saw one. No, I don't generally use extended, Poen, for equities. For Roggy's kind of stuff I do, but yeah, you can. No extended. Let's see what else we can find from our scan. CTRA. Let's go back to the daily. Ooh. Ooh. Look at this. Look at this. Heather. Heather. Where's my EMA? Hold on. My EMA label just because. Okay, neutral. Yeah, that's not bad, eh? FCX. Well, on the daily it's still ripping, but intraday it's still ripping. Yep. So the time to be in, though, so again, simplicity, but maybe other tools that you want to use, right? Early in and out. Did this have a squeeze? It did have a squeeze. It had a low compression squeeze. Check this. So let's go the early in and out. Oh, baby, look at that. Squeezy, squeezy. Down to the 21. It's so hard to see John's stuff on when your charts are blue and The things are blue. Just a second. Let me fix this. I don't know why he uses this dark blue background. You'll know why Henry uses this. What? Oh, for goodness sakes. Cursor color. There we go. Phew! So these are the early in and out. Look at the squeeze, right? Early in and out didn't show it to you because it wasn't close enough, but it pulled back to the 21 EMA. There's the early in and out. It's fixing to go, and kabam, it did. Beautiful. Beautiful. What else we got going on? So let's look at Baba in that context, because we just looked at it. So Baba, with the early in and out, doesn't look great, right? But with our Momo base, I would watch this one. EMAs are stacked negatively right now, so yeah, it got a reversal signal, but I'd watch it. Right? So let's go back to the scan. This is my scan setup. You can use something different. I prefer things that have options, that open interest, but maybe you don't want that, right? Maybe you don't care. You're like, whatever, bot. You're dumb. Do this. You could get rid of market cap, right? Whatevs. Show me stuff that's smaller but fits the criteria. BLX. Blanco Latino American. Alright, let's see. The heck is this? Ooh! Slingshotty setting up, maybe. See it? See how simple this is? I love the simplicity of this, but I love that you can add it and enhance anything else that you're doing. So notice we've got neutral trend here, and if I add the 10x to this, sure enough, neutral trend. What about the Moxie? Daily Moxie? It's hovering. What else we got? Drag. Okay, that's an amusing ticker name. Not enough volume. This must be a new ticker. Not enough volume. With these kinds of things, right? There's less you can do with them. So now, because we know we got sell signals, let's shift this instead to a sell scan. I suspect we get a few more. D-Dog. Can we buy puts on this thing? Oh. Not quite yet. Need a couple of gray bars, but that may be something to take a look at. Nike. Or Nike, as Robbie calls it. It is Nike. Oh. Hang on, let me go back to my Momo base here with my Keltner channels. There we go. That's looking beautiful, isn't it? I know it's liquid. This wouldn't necessarily mean that it's, going to tank, but a pullback into here, that's a good $6 or $7. Not bad, right? What else we got? Citi. Citi has earnings coming up, I think. But, ooh, look at there. Pull back out of the stratosphere. Again, not a bad idea, right? What else oh, Reddit. I know that we've been all looking at this. What are some of your other favorite tools? Nothing? Oh, here, let me do this. 1 second. Just a second. You can look at my lovely background for a minute. Bring that back. This is the chart that Heather uses. So she's looking at two indices intraday with the Momo. Beautiful. So, yep, 2 minute to scalp the Nasdaq with reversal arrow. Yeah, I agree with you, and I've been doing that on my other chart that I showed you on the ES for 5 to 10 points. Yep, they're scalps, but yeah, and for Heather, the 15-minute can't have the opposite color bar, and I would attest to that. I've been scalping off the 2 minute using the 15-minute, and I skip the 5. And when these bars are aligning, you get some really sweet looking scalps. I use the quant pivots with it. Gray is reasonable. Gray is reasonable. I like the quant pivots. This says I need to sell this again. See this? Because we've got gray bars here. We got the reversal signal, and now we're getting the gray bars. Look at how the Keltners are starting to turn down on this 15-minute chart. That squeeze is just getting tighter and tighter. So for me, that's a nice little sell. If it can bounce back up here, I'll sell it again. The NAS scalping? Yeah, I'll show you Heather's. If I can find it. Come on, Toss. So it's almost the same. The difference is she's not using the quant pivots. Instead, she's got the Momo. And then they're the same. I mean, they're literally the same, Nilu. The Monster Momo on the 2 minute chart with the labels. Her only caveat is that the bar color here can't be different than the bar color here. Gray is okay, but if this one was blue and this one was orange, that's not a scalp. I moved mine as well, Bill. Mine just kind of got back together, but yeah, I moved mine. I moved my continuation up, and I left my reversal down. So you can do this. And it's really helpful. It's really, really helpful. Because then you don't have to try and pick out the MRs from the MCs. So for me, the only problem here is that I need to bounce back up to here because it hit the L1 and now it's bouncing. And if I were to put quant pivots on here, which I generally have, but you know, there's so much junk. And oh, okay, so alerts are off. Quant pivots, and I use the 4 hours on the 15-minute chart, and the 2 hour on the 2 minute chart. Look at that. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. And you can scalp like this all day long as you've got the setup that you like. And again, right? Like Bill loves his Moxie. So let's add some Moxie. I didn't save the quant pivots with it. But there you go. Reload my chart. So this is the other thing that a lot of people are like, oh, my chart got screwed up because I added stuff. Just reload it. As long as you didn't save it, all you got to do is reload it, and it's back to the way you had it. Ben, they do. There's a bug fix on the continuation. The reversal worked just fine. I'm testing a fix. See, that's the reversal. I'm testing a fix. Because there's a little one. We'll make them small, but there's a little issue. There we go. Not yet. No, Aaron. No. So here's the thing, guys. Any tools that I work on, I test them before I release them. So I'm not gonna do 15 million changes. This thing will be tested, and it's been tested with live trading, like real money trading. And so, because until I have at least 25 of those, so I know that it's working like it should, I'm not going to release it to you. Because what if I release it and say, oh, this is fixed, and then you're like, yeah, except for that this doesn't work when I use this and this and this. Right? Oops. So the short answer is no. Not yet. Turn off volume and Momo. Well, you turn it off for one, Cedar, and notice that it's working. These down here are my bug fix that I'm testing, like I just said. That's why it's called SPX Momo Test. And I want these in the top left. So hopefully that makes sense, Ben. There's no fix yet, but clearly it's working. If you really wanted to trade that, I wouldn't, but there you go. Yeah, we talked about that a little earlier, John. We looked at it. Any other questions on the Momo? Okay, so let's see what Heather's saying. Let me turn back on volume because if I can find the dang thing. Here's volume. Okay, there we go. Volume is on that. I'll just disable these for now because I don't want to see them. Oh, of course that doesn't work because it's the label. And we'll turn on volume. Okay. So what Heather just said is we got the reversal arrow on the 15-minute, which we have. Here's the problem that I see. Yeah, we have the reversal arrow for the buy. We've got a reversal arrow for a buy, and we've got a gray candle. So I don't see a bearish continuation bar. But I am using extended data. So, yeah, I don't think it's confirmed yet. I use extended data on the futures, y'all. JC won't do it intraday, and it doesn't work obviously on equities and the SPX, so you can turn it on or off, but I use it on the ES because the ES, remember, trades 23 hours a day. It flipped on you. It figures, right? So now look what we have going on though, right? We got down to the L1 here. Let me add my quant pivots here for the 4 hour. Just so we can get a reference. It got down to the L1 here, and look at that bounce, and look at that bounce. So yes, if this continues to have momentum to the downside and this squeeze continues to look like it's going nowhere or setting up to the downside, and if we get another reversal arrow or gray candles, that's where I would look to sell. You didn't lie. It just said, haha, psych. And this is the thing, right? I'm actually glad this happened, right? So a 2-minute chart is really wiggly. Really wiggly. And that's okay. You can scalp off of that as long as everything else matches what you're thinking. The thing is, notice that the ticks are going basically nowhere. Do you see this? We're just chopping. Tick, 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 tick. This bar is not moving. Right? So this was news. So now we wait. Let's see what else happens. Right? Is there an indicator or a simple? There is a very simple method. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me pull back up my base daily chart here just for funsies, because it makes it's just cleaner. Okay. So what you can do is you type ES, a minus sign, and SPX, and that will give you the actual price difference, which right now is $45.21. And of course it'll chart it, but yeah, that's the really simple way to do it. And you can just put this in a little teeny tiny chart on the corner of your screen, Sphinx. I love that name. Just put it in a little teeny tiny chart in the corner of your screen. So let's say if we went here and we did 2 charts, and oh, well, I can't in this one because it's not a fixed grid, but never mind. In a flex grid, you can do this really, really simply. Let me show you. Come on, load it up. This is my bot chart. But check this out, right? So I can say customize grid, and I want to add one down here. I don't need the stupid sidebar. Okay, so there's my chart, and then I can take this customize off, and then I can take this and just make it a little itty bitty chart. Right. And I can have all the rest of my stuff up there, which I usually do. So that's, I mean, you can create flex grids all you want, and that's a really, really simple way to do it. You could put it in a watch list, yes. I mean, there's so many different ways to do this with TOS, it's ridiculous. And then just like that, it yoinks it out of there. And my chart's back to where I wanted. Yeah. Go to your watch list. And go. Ta-da! There's the value. TOS is so powerful. So powerful. Any other questions? Stacked layered butterfly options. Not in the context of Momo, Peaceful Yogi, or what? Yeah, the performance. Yeah, well, I'm guessing that because of the charts that I had open, that's what crashed me earlier. They're getting there. I mean, it took loading up Restream with the charts that I had open. I had, I think, 18 charts open, plus all the other stuff that you know I use all day long because I need to monitor stuff. I closed almost all the rooms and stuff up to keep it from happening again, but that's what it took to crash it. It's a lot better. Okay, so let's go to the SPX on an intraday chart. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. Let's use the SPX here, Peaceful Yogi, and I'll show you this. So let me get my, well, we'll just leave this. We don't need the continuation labels. So I'm going to turn off volume so the Momo works. Okay, drop dead simple chart. Well, this squeeze is looking like it wants to fire on the 15-minute short. So 62.20. Let's go look at the options at 62.20 for today. Okay. 62.20. Boom. So what we could do, right? Let's say we wanted to center a butterfly right here. Let's buy a butterfly. And we can make it 10 wide. Oops, wrong way. Wrong way. Let's go 10 wide. Let's go 10 wide. Okay, so there's one butterfly. And then let's analyze this and see what it looks like. Okay, so there's our little butterfly. That's our T plus 1 line. So if we bought this here, it would cost us 10 bucks. And if it, oh, this is, I didn't really want it on the ES, but that's okay. I really wanted it on the SPX. What happened to my, okay, toss. Look, I just praised you, toss. What are you doing? Let's try this again with the SPX. Hey, 62.20. That's better. Like, what the? All right, we're still going to make it 10 wide. This might look a lot better. Yeah, it does. Okay, oops. Delete that. There we go. All right, so there's our butterfly. That looks much better. It looks almost like the ES, but so notice that on the ES the curve was up here. Same thing. So this will cost us a whopping $1.75. If it gets to either side, it's going to cost us $1.75. If it pins anywhere within here, we start making money, and because it's 10 wide, we can make about 750 bucks. Okay. So that's kind of nice based on Momo and the Keltner channels and the squeeze. Does that make sense, Peaceful Yogi? So another one where? Did you want to layer one? Well, it depends. Some people will layer them on if they want multiple things, right? If this squeeze instead becomes a slingshot and heads back up, maybe we could center one right around 235, 240, right? So let's go up here. 240s looking nice, but 245s look better. But let's see. Let's buy another butterfly. And we will make this 10 wide. So now, now we have what is known as a Batman. Okay, so that's on either side. If we wanted to stack one, over the top of one or the other of these. So it's more of a cat hat. But let's say we wanted to stack one. Maybe I want to put one down here at 6,200. Okay. So let's go to 6,200 and center a put one. Because if that squeeze fires, that may be bad, right? We'll make it 10 wide again. So now let's turn off the call butterfly. Maybe we don't think it's gonna, oops. Okay. So now we've stacked them. This one here, if we pin in there, great. If we don't, there's the issue, right? There we lose about $200. Well, yeah, about $200. So that's what is known as the Valley of Death, but it can work, right? If we come to here and we get some money, great. You can also interleave them. So maybe this upper one, we could instead change this to the 25. So now they're overlapping. So we could make about $1,200 if it comes down there to 1610. Here's our break even, way up here, right? We start losing about $235 on the upside. The downside, we could lose a bit more, but there you go, right? If we come all the way down to 6,200 and pin, that's worth $2,200. Even with both of these. If you could pin right there at 20, that's still worth $1,200, and that would be an overlapping butterfly. But it would cost us some more money, right? So it would cost us about $235. That's not too bad. That's a 10-to-1 risk to reward. The difference here, Peaceful Yogi, is that butterflies have lower probability. So this is hopefully if you all were watching Henry yesterday, this was fantastic, right? Butterflies are low probability of profit, but if you do get a profit, it's usually larger. I don't normally overlap them because at that point, you're not gaining a whole lot, honestly, for the cost. I would make it wider. Instead of overlapping these, let's take our one down here and make it, instead of making it 10 wide, let's make it 20 wide or 25 wide. Now it's going to cost us more. Okay, now that's 25 wide, but we have all this space in here. Yeah, see, it's going to cost us $420, but we have all this space in here in which to capture some profits. See this? Even if it comes all the way down here, it would have to come all the way down to 61.78 before we started losing money, or go all the way back up to 62.20 before we started losing money. And anywhere in here, we can make a little bit of scratch. At the middle, of course, it costs more to be wider. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't use butterflies a whole lot, honestly, Peaceful Yogi, because the probability of profit on them is so low. But with Momo, where you've got a squeeze setting up and we're kind of not sure where things are going, it's maybe not a bad idea to do a cheap butterfly here and a cheap butterfly here, and the only thing that really is going to cost you is this Valley of Death right here if it just sticks. Does that make sense? You could do a wide one right here, right? Center it at 230 and just do a 20 wide. That's the other way to do it, right? You're like, well, it might stick in here, but this is where it's been today, so maybe not. I don't know. find my chart. Well, it was not paying attention. Look what it did, right? Remember what I said? If it gets to here, I'd sell it again. Well, there you go. There's your 5 points. And given this, and look at this. So you've got the reversal. We've got the reversal. So here's what I would do. Set an alert right here. And if it gets there, I'll sell it again. Matt, yeah, it chopping between 2 points works really well, especially if you overlap them, right? So your legs overlap and you don't have that much of a valley of death, as it were. Yeah, that can work really well. They're just really low probability. That's what you have to understand. Butterflies, by and large, are about a 25% or less probability, but they're also cheap. So that's the trade-off. Every strategy for everything that we've been looking at Momo-wise, right? There's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off. There's nothing that's guaranteed ever in trading, and if somebody tells you that there is, run very far away very fast. There are no guarantees, right? But what you can do is put some edge on your side by having whatever favorite tools you like. These are my favorites for Momo scalping, honestly. This has worked so well for me. But yeah, TikTok influencers and whatever. Yeah, just run from those people. You could do an Iron Condor, Max. The problem with an Iron Condor is that and it would work, especially same here, right? We've been talking about this spot in the Keltners. The problem with an Iron Condor is that your risk, because you're selling premium, is higher. Now, your reward is higher and your probability is higher. This is the thing, right? This is what Henry was talking about exactly yesterday. And in conjunction with the Momo, right, that might be a problem. So let's consider, if we did an Iron Condor and we centered it right here, let's go to SPX. These are going to fail for a second, but let's go here. And instead, let's do an Iron Condor, what did we say? 62.20, right? So let's sell, and it's actually a, we'll do it this way and then we'll just make the strikes match. There we go. Okay, so it's not very, it's 5 wide, but you know, I want the strikes to match, so let's put them, let's center them at 20, okay? So now we got a 10 wide Iron Condor, okay? That we're going to sell for $2.85. That didn't work. I want to sell the 62.20 and I want to buy the 62.30. I hate toss for this kind of stuff. That's better. All right. So here's our Iron Condor. And if we open that up, we can sell it for $7.85, more or less, $7.90. Okay? So if it pins, we make $790-ish, right? The problem is that if it doesn't work, we lose $210 on either side. See the problem? You can lose a lot more money. And this is only a 10 wide, which is really low probability, but it can work. So you're capping your risk, or your profit in this case, but you also cap your risk a little bit. Versus something like this, where you have a much higher probability, but in this case, yeah, your risk is actually a little wider. So yeah, it's high risk, high reward, exactly. But you can do it, right? It just depends on your risk tolerance and what you're looking at. Again, with the Momo, I'd be hesitant to do that. Because if this Momo fires off, it's likely going to blow way through that. And there you go. Dr. Bob says volatility is way too low. I don't know that it's way too low, but it's lower than just buying a butterfly for cheap. Absolutely. That's the other consideration. Can I explain the ES 2-minute and 15-minute with the color of the Momo candle arrows? Okay, so let's go back to ES, since you're asking about ES. Okay, so this is bullish momentum. That's what the blue means. This is bearish momentum. That's what the orange means. This is a reversal arrow to the downside. This is a reversal arrow to the upside. The gray means neutral. There's no momentum either way. Okay? So this is a 2-minute chart. These little lines here are called quant pivots. They're my favorite automated support and resistance for scalping. Okay? I'm using these to say, okay, well, because again, I am not a momentum trader. If you're a momentum trader, when you get a signal, a breakthrough something, right? That's when you sell. I prefer to say, if you come back up here and test this, that's when I'll sell. I would much rather sell at the higher point than the lower point trying to catch this falling knife. But it works either way, and whatever works for you is the right way. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my way is the only way, because it isn't. Okay? For me, this is what I would be looking for, is a touch of this again to fill this fair value gap, by the way. Those of you who know I trade those. Fill that gap a little bit. I would sell it back down, scale out here, and then let a runner go, especially if I've got Momo to the downside. Now, Heather, we have Momo to the downside. Momo to the downside. That was kind of the rest of it. So if we can, these stay in alignment, and this squeeze is starting to look like it wants to fire short. Neelu, does that make sense? If it's confusing, go to the simpler chart. Go to the really, really simple base. It's trying to pop to the 15 or the 21 EMA on the 2-minute. It's trying to just consolidate on the 15-minute. EMAs are stacked negatively. The squeeze is looking like it. I would ignore a squeeze on a 2-minute chart, honestly. They're not helpful. The squeeze in the 15-minute is. So all this is telling us is that with the EMA stacked negatively on the 15-minute chart, this is called an anchor chart, right? This is what you can do with this is say, okay, well, I've got an anchor chart over here that looks like it wants to fire short. I've got the reversal signal. I've got more momentum to the downside. Now, maybe I get a better entry if I wait for it to come up here rather than trying to sell it if it breaks this. But both are valid. And JT, it's tomorrow and Thursday. And no, he is not scheduled for the MTT room tomorrow morning because he has live trading. The green arrow on the 2-minute. So remember, it's a 2-minute chart, Nilu. So 2-minute charts are going to wiggle. You're going to get a ton more signals that aren't necessarily valid. They're valid on the 2-minute chart. You got that reversal arrow because look at that huge wick. And it did, in fact, reverse. But sometimes you get a reversal arrow that immediately reverses right back down, like over here. We got the reversal arrow. This was a orange bar, and it made Heather contemplate because it also got this from a headline. This 15-minute chart is far less wiggly. If we go to the 5-minute chart, you'll see the same thing. But you don't see it on the same bar because it took longer for this bar to form. See, we got the reversal arrow, and sure enough it did, but it didn't get far before it started coming back down. So context is everything. On a 2-minute chart, you're going to get a whack ton of arrows. Look at the difference in arrows here. Tons of arrows versus over here, right? Because they're different time frames. And honestly, if you're new to trading, I would not in any way tell you to attempt scalping, because it takes some nuance. It takes some learning. It takes some understanding of your tools and what you're looking at. Well, look at this histogram. It was trying to go up, learn poker, but see how it only got this far, which was up to this 21 again, and we got the reversal arrow, and see how that histogram is starting to go back down? So it's all in context. Again, all of the EMAs are stacked negatively, meaning the 8 is below the 13, and that's below the 21, and that's below the 34, and that's below the 89. Look at the Keltner channels. They're turning down, aren't they? This is the same stuff that I was showing you the other day in the main room. Look at the context. These are turning down. These are turning down, and it's been heading in the down direction, right? Down, down, right? This is sideways, but starting to head down. Do you see that? Starting to try to head down. This is clearly more pronounced down. And like I said, ignore the squeeze on a 2-minute chart. I don't even have it on a 2-minute chart. It just happened to be there because I use this chart to shift through multiple time frames. It makes no sense. Oh, and ding, 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 right? I set an alert, right? That said, if it gets up here, I might short this thing. Boom. It nailed it. And now look. This is stacked negative. This has gone neutral, which is okay because it's a 2-minute chart. 2-minute charts are wiggles. This is gone. This is still negative. It's nailing that 21. So for me, this is a scalp to sell right here for another trip back down. That's how you can see that it's heading down. Does that make sense? Learn poker? I didn't say that it fired short. I said it's looking like it wants to fire short, but it's also chopping like crazy, right? So now this went from red to blue. I mean, it literally shifted positions. Just Google it. It's just a label, and it's one that I made for myself years ago. Just Google it. There's a bajillion of them out there. So if I were to sell here, which is what I said, right? Where's my risk? Well, it depends on your account size. For me, I can risk 10 points. So I can risk up above this Keltner channel. Am I making sense? I can't do it because I have my platform closed right now, but that's for me, that's how I figure it out. So that would be a 1-to-1 risk to reward. 10 points for 10 points, and then I would manage my stop based on what's happening here. But that was a fabulous place to get an entry, but like Bill said, don't be an arrow monkey on the 2-minute. You're going to get a ton of them. This is why this is tricky, right? So if you're new to trading, scalping off a 2-minute chart is probably not the first thing you want to start with. Start with a daily or a 4-hour chart and get used to swings, right? The 9th and the 11th, that's Wednesday and Friday. I don't honestly, I don't know. I honestly do not know. Let me look. John's schedule sometimes changes a bit, so we have to adjust. Let me look. Heather helps to wrangle him It's her main job to, to herd the JC. It's this is what I had because that's what I put on in the room, which is Wednesday and Friday. So Wednesday and Friday may be when it is. I don't know. It could have changed. I honestly don't know. Okay, so it's Wednesday and Friday. It's okay, Heather. It changed so many times. It's Wednesday and Friday. So there you go. Yeah, log into the classroom anyway, because I will be there answering questions because we're having live trading tomorrow. That one is absolutely 100% set in concrete. Okay? So there will be live trades, which usually means that there will be questions on live trades the next day. So we're always in the room after the day after live trading. Okay? And again, if y'all want to join us for the last 2 days of live trading, I'm just going to post it in the alert box so that you can see it. Okay? Can you hear me typing? And there's an upgrade. Let's post the upgrade link. Okay. If you don't already have it, you may need to contact support, but I don't think so. I think that link will work for everybody. Okay. Any other Momo questions? Hopefully this has helped a little bit. Y'all are sending me lots of emails and scans and everything else. Scans are drop dead simple to set up, as you saw. I love my Monster Momo reversal buy. This works extremely well, and Heather and I have been talking about a lot of them for a while now. Reloaded get back to my base chart. That's not what I wanted. I have so many charts. So you guys, really truly, we test these things out over and over and over and over and over again. Here we go. So if you don't see the classroom, Learn Poker, then did you buy the class? Is it possible to set up Momo as a radar in the watch list? No, not right now, Sphinx. I'm working on it. If you go to my classes, Learn Poker, it should be right here. And if it isn't, if you don't see this, contact support immediately. 512-266-8659. Well, did you buy the Pro or the Elite? Because the live trading is for the Elite portion. That's why I posted the upgrade link. If you bought the Pro, then yeah, you won't see the link to log in. It's not neither, Rob. It's one that I made years ago. The Pro did have 2 live trading sessions. The 2 live trading sessions were in June. June 11th and 12th. Those are done. So Pavan says, I did the upgrade for these last 2 days last week. So go to the my classes section right here. Pavan. There's not a new link. It's all in the same class. And if you're not seeing it, if you upgraded to the Elite Pawan and Learn Poker, and you're not seeing it, please contact support. Live trading starts tomorrow morning, so you have time today. They are open there and ready to help. So here, I'll post the phone number here. Maria, yeah, well, you know I am. Because some y'alls are jokers like Bill, who asks me a part of a question in one room, and then he'll move to the other room and ask the rest of it. I'm on to you, man. Any other questions on the Momo? Are we good? This is an amazing tool. This is as close to mind reading JC as we have managed to get. And it works in so many different ways, with so many different tool sets and so many different methods, right? John is a momentum trader, and the squeeze setup is his baby, but the squeeze with the Momo has just added and enhanced it a lot. I'm an exhaustion trader, and it works for me too. I buy the pullbacks when I get signals like this with my other tools. Heather's kind of mixed. Heather's more of a voodoo lines person, and it works for her too. And it works for Henry. And I know Sam has been looking at it. I know Allison has been looking at it. One of the things that I would caution of, those of you who might be in the small lots room, I would not try to use this with the divergent bar. And the reason is that they're looking basically for the same thing, but with different math, and you will get, more often than not, and I did try it, I tested it, you will get mixed signals that cloud the clarity that you can get with one or the other. Are there a lot of false signals? I would not say that, no. And now, again, Finola, it depends on the chart that you're using and the context that you're using it in, right? Where's my... Because on a 2-minute chart, you're going to get a lot of wiggles. These are all valid signals, but they're wiggles. But on a daily chart, well, it's the same thing, right? Let me detach this so I don't have to keep doing that. It's the same thing, right? You're always going to get signals, but context is everything. Right? So are there false signals? Technically, no. And there you go. Heather says that the majority of false signals for reversals, so let me, well, this is a good place to look at this. For reversals come when there's a strong trend. There is a massive trend here. The squeeze fired. We've been with gray bars for a while, and we're extended from the 21 EMA. That is not a confusing, conflicting signal. But if we come back here, this is, right? There was a strong push to the downside. It eventually worked, but that was a strong, strong trend down, and that's where you can get a conflict. So what do? You wait, right? When we got gray bars and it held this 21 EMA, that said, okay, we've got the reversal, and now it is actually calming down. Maybe I can buy. And it's a great way to do it, Heather, right? So when you get a strong signal one way or the other, but you have a strong trend, maybe look for a reversal on a lower time frame, like we were talking about earlier. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame and say, where could we get into this? Ooh, right? And dang me, I don't have my platform open. This is where I want to get in for a sell. Because I still have a strong trend on the daily, but a quick overnighter down here to 6,200 in the ES, that's not unreasonable, is it? How far away is that? That's 70 points. You can hit some home runs on the signal, but you know what? The rate is meaningless because it depends on how you use it and the context that you're using it in. So is there a way to filter for less? Yeah. Look at what we're doing. We're using the squeeze and a Keltner channel with the 21 EMA. That's a great filter. stacked EMAs, positive or negative. Let me put my tool back. They're neutral. So, and on the 15-minute, this is becoming an orange dot squeeze. It's trying to be an orange dot squeeze. What does that mean? That's high comp. Okay? And a high compression squeeze about 85% of the time, about, Henry and I tracked this for months and months and months and months and months and months. About 80% of the time, fire counter trend. So what does that tell you? This is a 15-minute chart. So if this fires up here, that would make it a really nice counter trend trade for what we're seeing on the daily. Yeah. The scanner is built in. Yeah. I showed you the scanner earlier. The scanner is built into the tool. Is the multi-time frame analysis? That's not a question, Sean. Can you rephrase? What do you mean? You can use multi-time frame analysis, absolutely. That's what we were just talking about with the scalping, right? Where the heck is my chart? So Heather's scalping chart, for example. All right, Toss, I have no idea why you won't bring that up. Come on. There it goes. Holy moly, Toss. There we go. Toss being stupid. This is multi-time frame analysis. Yeah? So she's using the 2-minute and the 15-minute as her anchor chart on the NASDAQ. Oh, well. I don't know. Oh, this shifted to the SPX. This was the NAS, right? So, and what she's doing is saying she's scalping reversal arrows when the 2-minute and the 15-minute bar colors at least match. Yeah, and that would be multi-time frame analysis, absolutely. Sure. Because she's using both charts to say, okay, well, if this one were blue and this one were orange, that wouldn't be a scalp for her. If this one were orange and this one were gray, that would be okay. Does that make sense? I generally don't use multi-time frame analysis a whole lot. Oh, see? 2-minute. But for scalping, you can, right? See this 2-minute reversal arrow? Remember what I was talking about? If it got up here, I got to get my platform open so I can sell it because we've got not continuation here yet, but we've got gray bars. And remember what we were looking at with the squeeze. So I'm looking for a little more downside into the close. Personally, when I can open up my platform. Okay? Any other questions? We're way over time, and I think Danielle's in the MTT room. All right. Thank you, everybody. Sorry about the snafu at the beginning. Too many toss charts. But I think they'll post it. The recording will be posted in the dashboard in this room. Is Taylor? Okay. On the dashboard in this room. And I believe, I don't know what they decided, but I think they'll post it on our YouTube channel later today. Correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, but I think that's what they decided. Okay. Thanks, everybody.